Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing good and preparing well for your upcoming examination. I have brought one more poem for your better understanding, and it's a kind of quick revision which will help you to prepare well when it comes to this poem called The Trees. The Trees is a poem which has been written by Adrienne Rich, and as you know that Adrienne Rich was a poetess who was a feminist also. So here is the poem. The Trees, basically the name or the title of the poem is symbolic to the woman of the society. Do remember, it is also representing the woman of the society. Also, for your information, this poem was written around in the year 1950, in and around the year 1950 by Adrienne Rich. So how does the poem goes, or let us have a better understanding of the poem. The poem is like this: the trees inside are moving out into the forest that was empty all these days, where no bird could sit, no insect hide, no sun bury its feet in shadow. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. Now, in the first stanza, the poetess is trying to tell about, or trying to make its reader understand, that the trees which are kept in confinement, which are kept within a room, or within the confinement of the wall, the trees are there inside, and they have the hope, they have the desire to go out into the forest, to their natural habitat. Alright, trees are beautiful when they are there in their natural habitat. So you see, as a result, what is happening, I mean, the trees are not outside there into the forest. As a result, what is happening over here, the poetess, she says that there are no birds who could sit or build their nest, there are no insects who could hide. And in a very interesting way, the poetess also says that the sun rays are falling direct onto the barren land. I mean, it's like this, that when the sun rays actually falls on the forest, it appears as if the sun rays are burying into the depth of the forest. I mean, the sun rays are falling onto the barren land, cannot be seen. It is observed as if the sun rays are being observed by the trees. So it is talking about the sad part of the society, where the beauty of the society, the beautiful scene of the society is missing. Why? Because the trees are not there. As I told you in the beginning, this also represents the woman of the society. The poetess indirectly is also trying to say that if the women are not allowed to go out into the society and play a equal role, and that they should be accepted in the society, the poetess is also trying to say that the woman should be allowed, and the women of the society are also equal to the men of the society. All right, so the prejudice or the taboo that is being put onto the woman, that should be removed. Now it's time that the woman of the society should also be able to come out like how the trees, they are wanting to come out. Now you check the last two lines of the first stanza. The forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. By writing these in the last two lines, the poetess is trying to instill or give a suggestion about the hope that is there, that yes, a time will come when the women of the society, those who are confined inside, the trees, those who are confined inside, will eventually come out. So see the last line, will be full of trees by morning. So it is not very far that the trees will come out. Subsequently, the women of the society will also come out into the society. Alright, those who are confined inside. Now let us quickly take a note of the literary devices that are being used in the first stanza. The first line, it is an example of personification. Apart from that, you can also, the whole line can also be described as to be a metaphor. What kind of metaphor? It is a kinesthetic metaphor where the movement of the trees are being described, right? So the movement of the trees are also been described in the first line. Apart from that, prevailing and most prominent literary device through this line is personification. Do remember that. Next, we are also going to talk about another line which is also an example of personification. Sun bury its feet in shadow. Now, what is being personified? The sun rays are being personified as if they are burying its feet into the forest which was lying. So this is also an example of metaphor, personification. Next we have, see, two consecutive lines starting with the same word or word phrase. We have learnt about this to be anaphora. Remember, there is also usage of anaphora in this first stanza. Apart from that, if you check the whole paragraph or whole stanza, there is enjambment also. If you check that, there is enjambment also, especially the last 2-3 lines, or starting from second line to the last line of the paragraph. It's an example of enjambment. Now let us move on to the next stanza of the poem, which talks about all night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. The leaves strain towards the glass, small twigs stiff with exertion, long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof, like newly discharged patients, half-dazed, moving to the clinic doors. Now, in the second stanza, the poetess is actually talking about the struggle, the efforts that are being made by the trees to move out into the forest, to release them from that confinement and going into the forest. Subsequently, the struggle that the women are actually going through, or the pain that the women are going through, is been described in this stanza, where the poetess says that, you see, they have worked so much so that the cracks have developed in the veranda floor. That means the veranda floor, which is a concrete floor, which did not have any cracks because of the efforts that are being made by the trees. What happened? There are developments of crack. That means there is a progress of the trees advancing into the forest through that veranda wall. Now, because of the advancement made by the tree, or because of the development made by the tree, what happened? The cracks have developed in the veranda, in the veranda floor. Alright, not only this, the poetess in the fourth line, you see the leaves strain towards the glass. Now over here, the poetess is trying to say that there is a wall, and that wall is of glass. So what the leaves are doing, the leaves are trying to press through the glass window to move out, to strain out, and taste the freedom, or breathe the air of freedom. Subsequently, you see, it is also talking about the woman, those who are confined or those who were kept inside. They are also having the same kind of feeling, and they also want to come out, and they are also struggling or putting in their effort to come out into the society. Small twigs stiff with exertion. Small twigs, you see, twigs are the very weak part. They are very delicate, but then these twigs have also become stiff with exertion. Exertion means it has worked so much so, and it is desperate to come out into the forest to live in its natural habitat. So they have also become, the twigs have also become stiff. Long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof like newly discharged patients. So over here, you see, because of the struggle, because of the pain, and because of the prejudice and the the difficulties that they have faced, you see, they have become tired. And what kind of tiredness is being spoken by the poetess over here? Like newly discharged patient who is happy from within. You see, why discharged patient is being used over here? The poetess is trying to make the readers understand. You see, a patient when is discharged from the hospital, what happens? That patient is not 100% cured, but then the patient is so much cured that it can face the society, it can live in the society on its own. So therefore, the poetess over here says that newly discharged patient who is not 100% fit, but then at the same time but has all the abilities to survive in the environment outside. Alright, so the same thing is happening over here also, or the same kind of imagery is been drawn by the poetess in this stanza also, that the trees have become tired and the trees have exerted themselves so much so that they are ready to come out in the society, even if it is like this, that they are not 100% fit. So over here the poetess says so, half dazed, moving to the clinic door. Now again you see the last line, to the clinic door, though they know that they are not 100% fit, but then they have this desire. They know that they can also survive in the society where the male dominance is there, but then they know they are also going to do something for the society, or they are also able to do for the society, which will tell the men of the society that they are also equally good and they can also play a very important role in developing the society. So again, here you see the trees have actually been described over here, and the inner meaning is related to the woman. All right, so this is stanza 2. Let us quickly talk about some of the literary devices that are being used. You see, these 3 lines are examples of personification. In all the 3 lines, personification is being used, where the tree is being personified through strain, through exertion, and long cramped bows or shuffling. All right, so these are all the things which are generally human attributes or a human trait, which is being given to a non-human. Next, there is one more what you call literary device. This is a simile. The trees are being compared with what? Newly discharged patient. All right. So these are some of the literary devices. So saying this, we will move on to the third stanza. Now the third stanza. In this stanza, what is being said? Let us see. I sit inside doors open to the veranda, writing long letters, in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. The night is fresh, the whole moon shines, in a sky still open. The smell of leaves and lichens still reaches like a voice into the room. Now, over here, the poetess is actually trying to say the hopefulness, the hope that is there in the trees, that what is going to happen or how it is going to happen. They have done all the struggles, they have prepared themselves to go out into the forest, and now they are ready. Here is where the poetess, you see, it's not talking in this stanza, it's not talking about the departure. The poetess is actually talking about the readiness of the tree, how the trees have got themselves ready, how the women in the society who are confined have got themselves ready. And the poetess is actually sitting there and writing long letters about the struggles that they have come across, about the difficulties that they have come across, in order to make an impression by going out into the society, by telling the society that we are also capable of serving the society or being a part of the society, and we should be treated equal. Now you see over here, in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. So over here the poetess is saying that I am not writing something long letters, I'm not writing the letter of what will happen once when we go outside. I am writing the letters related to the difficult times that we have spent, and it is a high time that we should also be allowed to go into our natural habitat. All right. And the poetess is also talking about the voices that could be heard from a distance, the smell. It is also talking about the smell of fresh air, the smell of new something could be felt by the poetess sitting at the veranda door, and could see that a new beginning is ready to welcome the trees, welcome the forest into the forest. I mean, welcome the trees into the forest, or the society welcoming the woman into their environment, or into the life of male dominance, or society of male dominance, right? So you see, the night is fresh, the whole moon shines. Here the poetess is talking about the good things which are there on the other side of the veranda, on the other side of the walls, behind which all the trees are there, behind which all the women are there, and they could feel the smell of freshness. They could hear the voices that could be heard from outside, and people are ready to welcome them, and when they go out into the society, they will be welcomed. But at the same time, you see, the poetess is also telling, still reaches like a voice into the rooms. The poetess is also talking about the worries that what will happen once the woman or the trees goes into the forest, into their natural habitat. Will they be accepted, or they'll also have to again face some difficulties? Yes, of course, they are aware that there can be some more difficulties, but then they are not afraid of this anymore. Now they have prepared themselves so strong that they should be able to face the difficult times which will be there or which will be posted by them once when they are into their natural habitat. Literary devices, you see usage of alliteration. I have given you one, but there are more alliterations which are there in this paragraph. Do take note and mark the alliterations yourself as you find it in this paragraph. Next, the next literary device is imagery. Again, imagery is there. The whole moon shines is an imagery, and there is one more imagery, but then this is olfactory imagery. Olfactory is basically, related to smell. I mean, you won't be able to draw the image, but then it's related to smell. It sometimes so happens that when you say, suppose if you are traveling from one place to, I mean, you are traveling, and what happens is all of a sudden you could smell some biscuit, or you can smell some confectionery items that is been baked or something like that. Immediately you will have the picture of the cookies or the pastries or the biscuits. So that kind of sense is known as to be olfactory, where the imagery is related to the smell. So therefore there is one such imagery being used over here by Adrian Rich, and this kind of imagery is known as to be what? Olfactory imagery. Right, now we will move on to the last and the final stanza of this poem. My head is full of whispers. Now I told you, the poetess is also little worried about whether the trees will be accepted in the forest or not, whether the trees will be able to survive into the forest. Likewise, the poetess is also saying that when the woman will go out into the society, will they be accepted, or whether they'll be able to survive in the society or not. The first line over here explains that my head is full of whispers. Now what whispers? Whispers of survival into the society, what the society, how the society will treat them, and how they will be able to face the struggle. The poetess is talking about that whisper, which tomorrow will be silent. In the next line she says that tomorrow there will be no noise or no whispers when they will see that they have come into the society and they are doing good for the society, and they are actually a helping member of the society. These trees out into the forest are actually enhancing the beautification of the environment, and really helping the environment to be more fresh, more positive. So which the poetess explains in the second line, which tomorrow will be silent. Listen, the glass is breaking. Now the poetess is talking about the departure of the trees from the house. So the poetess says over here, and see, immediately after listen there is a full stop. Why? Because the poetess wants the reader to understand and pause for a while. Listen, the glass is breaking. That means the trees are now making their final move to actually come into their natural habitat. Alright, so by saying this, she is also meaning to say that the trees which are going out into the forest, likewise the women are also now going out into the society. The trees are stumbling forward. Stumbling forward means now they have all started to come out, and they are moving forward in a stumbling way into the night. Wind rushes to meet them. Now you see, the society is full of different types of people. There will be people who will like the arrival of the woman into the society. There will be factors in the forest who will like the arrival of the trees in the society. So who would like? The wind would rush to meet them, to greet them. So over here the poetess says that the wind rushed to meet them. The wind is very happy to see the trees into the forest, and the wind has actually gone to welcome them, or the wind is present there to welcome the trees into the forest. The moon is broken like a mirror. Now in the last stanza there was a full moon which could be seen clearly. In this stanza you see the moon is broken like a mirror. Why? Because now the trees are all coming out into the forest. When someone looks through the trees to the moon would appear to be what? As if broken, because of the branches and the leaves that would come in between the vision of the people and the moon, will make the moon appear as if it is broken, right? And previously, why the moon was full and clear? Because there were no trees in the forest, hence the moon could be clearly seen. But now there will be hindrance. The trees are there in their natural habitat, they have gone out, and the moon can be seen broken like a mirror. Its pieces flash now in the crown, and the same moon which would appear like a crown on whom? Of the tallest oak tree. You see, oak tree has been used here very interestingly, because oak trees are the ones which are also considered to be the oldest tree in a forest. Oak trees, they live long, and they have seen many generations have passed under them. So it is telling that even that old lady who actually struggled whole of her life to actually make an impression into the society, has eventually has finally got the chance to go out into the society and make a mark and tell the society that we women are not less, we are also equally capable of doing the things which the male dominant society is doing. We can also do the same. In fact, we can do better than the men of the society. So the last stanza is actually talking about finally the day has come where the trees have gone into the forest, and the trees have started coping up with the situation, with the condition, into their natural habitat, and they have started to live there, where the wind comes to greet them, the wind comes to live with them, the wind has come to be a part of their growth by helping them and by being with them. Similarly, the woman will also be accepted, and the woman will also do good for the society. So this is how the poem comes to an end. Quickly we will take a look onto the literary devices. Again, there is a usage of personification. The trees are stumbling. Stumbling is been personified. The trees is been personified by saying stumbling. And then in the last three lines, these whole three lines are example of imagery, and this is a visual imagery. So that's it, dear children. This is the explanation. I hope it will help you to recall and remember the whole poem, and remember, while writing the answers, do quote the part of the woman also, though it is not mentioned over here in the poem. But then, as I told you, it is a symbolic poem where the trees are actually representing the woman of the society. Thank you.